Welcome to Garden-Wise Adventures. My name is Malie and I live in Utah, Zone 6/7. And today it's time for another Plant of the Week video. This year I'm focusing on herbs. And today I wanted to talk about one of the more widely grown herbs around the United States, and that is oregano. And I think, I can't speak from experience, but I think it's grown around the world quite regularly. So oregano is a wonderful plant. Let's look at the types of oregano that I have and discuss how it's grown and what you can use it for. So this is my backyard food forest. This hill right here, and I'll show you a picture of what it looked like when I first planted it. But this hill was one of the first places that I decided was going to be an area for herbs. I called it my herb hill. And I planted these little itsy bitsy tiny beautiful popsicle blue spruce. They were glow blue spruce on a standard. We're supposed to stay really small. Now I think they're about 10 by 10. Gorgeous, gorgeous plants. But anyway, the herbs have seemed to survive still on this hill. Now, one herb that I've had on this hill that goes through its good times and its bad times is my oregano. You can actually see some under here. I don't know if you can really see it. That's in a lot of shade. Now, oregano is a really useful plant. It's a really interesting plant, and I've actually quite liked growing it. This patch looks a little worse for wear. It did get a bit trampled when we did some pruning on my blue spruce so that I could open up my pathway a little bit more. But this plant can take a large amount of abuse. It's on this hill. It gets watered once every week to 2 weeks, just depending on how hot it is. The one thing that I did notice is I have some lamb's ear next to it, some catmint in the middle, and then we have some burgart and sage around the other side. Those plants seem to be able to go quite a long time without water. The oregano does not do as well without water. When I was redoing this food forest and taking out the lawn, I had to cut off the water here for about a month and a half. The other herbs didn't even look stressed. I just about lost the oregano. So it is drought tolerant, but not as drought tolerant as some of the other plants. Now, this is the time of year when oregano starts looking a little rangy. You can see down here at the bottom where the stems have elongated. The leaves have gotten a little bit bigger and a little bit more chewed up, but it's starting to flower. Now, the oregano flowers are very highly attractive to all the pollinators, so I let it flower, but I don't let it reseed because it will reseed itself everywhere. I always cut back the flowers before they go to seed. Now, once I cut it back, I always cut it back to the ground. It disappears for a little while, and then the new crop of leaves starts growing in, and it just forms this nice, beautiful little mat like it does in the springtime. I'll see if I can show you a picture of that. So this is just regular garden oregano. There are so many applications for oregano in cooking, but I like to dehydrate it. I also use it fresh. So before it goes to flower, I'll come out and harvest a bunch of leaves, dehydrate those. I just put them on top of my microwave or in my grow room and let them dehydrate, and then I stick them in jars for the next year. Once it's flowered, the leaves don't taste as good. They're still fine, but they just don't taste as good, so I just wait until the flowering is done and the new crop of leaves comes in. So let me go show you the one other variety of oregano that I have. So right here we have yet again another one of my favorite herbs. Now this is Drops of Jupiter oregano. It's by Proven Winners, and probably most of you, if you're gardeners, have watched Laura on Garden Answer. And she first showed us her Drops of Jupiter oregano, and that's when I fell in love with it. So I looked it up, read all about it, went online to Proven Winners and ordered it through the Proven Winners website. Doesn't seem like any of the nurseries near me are carrying it yet. I hope they start to, because it is an absolutely gorgeous plant. So most oreganos need lean soil. That means they don't like really heavily fertile soil. It just makes them get too rangy, and they don't do as well. They don't like a lot of water. If they get too much water, the same thing happens and they can rot. But they do need some water, like I talked about with my other oregano. They bloom midsummer, and the pollinators absolutely adore it. You can see all the pollinators on this plant. Maybe you can see them. Yeah. In the spring, it's just this beautiful chartreuse mound of foliage, and that's the claim to fame for Drops of Jupiter, is its spring color. In the fall, when I cut it back, it's a little bit like the other oregano where you've got the empty spot, but it really quickly fills in by fall, and then you just have this beautiful little clump of chartreuse foliage. Now, Drops of Jupiter oregano is not only ornamental, it is edible. It's not as heavily flavored as the regular oregano or as heavily scented, but you still can use it in cooking. Now, there are many other varieties and colors and types of oregano. Those are the only two that I'm growing so far. Another one that I've looked at is Greek oregano. There are some ornamental oreganos that are not edible. So I think there's an oregano for just about any use you would like. Now, I know there are medicinal benefits to oregano, but as I've said in my past videos, there are plenty of other people who are much more highly qualified than I am to talk about medicinal benefits. So because I don't have that knowledge and I don't want to spread false information, I don't talk about the medicinal benefits. So go look it up, and look it up from good qualified resources before you start using it medicinally. And as a culinary herb, if you haven't been using it in cooking, definitely start using it in your cooking. It is an absolutely wonderful herb to use, and it's easy to grow. Now, because I have not tried other varieties of oregano, I would love to hear what your favorite is. Do you have a favorite variety of oregano? What is it, and what do you use it for, and where do you grow it? So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.